You talk about the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause. Can you please explain what this syndrome is and how it impacts women during menopause?
So I see patients on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and every clinic, as I'm scaling down my list, I'll see a 46-year-old woman coming in with shoulder pain. And before I even go in the room, I know that there is a high likelihood that when I get in the room, she's going to say, I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened, but this pain is worse than childbirth. Can you
Mhm.
please help me with the fact that my shoulder doesn't move? And she'll do something like this if you're watching. I mean,
Yeah.
she's trying to raise her arm and she can't
Yeah.
get to her head. And this
Mhm.
woman has frozen shoulder. And so when we talk about the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause, frozen shoulder is one of the most common things that people may be aware of. Oh, I don't know what happened to my shoulder. But the fact of the matter is that there are estrogen receptors, meaning the little baskets that estrogen, when it's circulating around your body, fits into on every tissue of the body, the brain, the bones, the muscles, the heart. And so when we think of hormone replacement therapy as something that's only good for hot flashes, night sweats, and brain fog, we're leaving out about 93% of all the other amazing functions of estrogen. And so, just like all the other tissues, the musculoskeletal tissues, which for a review, it's been a long
Yeah.
time since biology class, probably for many people, muscles, tendons, ligaments, bones. I count inflammation as part of the things that affect the musculoskeletal system, cartilage, which is the smoother than ice lining of the bones, and fat, which
Mhm.
we love or don't love. And so
Right.
those tissues all are responsive to estrogen. And so the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause, finally, I'm getting it to it, are the six, or I wrote about six of them in the recent paper, but there's more and more and more. Total body pain, which is called arthralgia, which was one of my main perimenopause problems was I'm an
Yeah.
athlete and I couldn't get out of bed. Well, I did get out of bed, but it was painful to walk around for no reason. So arthralgia, frozen shoulder, like so many women coming into my clinic have, those are due to inflammation. Estrogen is a critical anti-inflammatory in the body. Next, we have loss of bone. This people know this, and yet we do nothing about it. Bone is dependent on estrogen and testosterone for its health. And so when estrogen walks out the door and never looks back, we can lose 15 to 20% of our bone density within that 5-year period surrounding
Amazing.
menopause. It's critical.
Mm.
Loss of muscle mass. We get weaker and lose our muscle around the time of menopause. Now, it doesn't mean we can't build it back. We can actually, but we'll lose it if we do nothing. We also have a rapid progression of arthritis. Arthritis is the loss of the cartilage matrix that lines the ends of our bones. Before 50 years old, men have more arthritis. But at 50, women have a rapid progression such that for 30 years, it's been described as the arthritis of menopause. And yet, very few people know about it, right? And then
Absolutely.
finally, we have, I mean, we can, before I forget it, it popped into my head. I didn't write it into the paper, but this a pandemic almost of low back pain that happens in this country,
Yes.
part of it is due to the loss of estrogen in the discs that separate our spinal vertebrae. They dehydrate, they become less cushiony, they collapse, contributing to our shrinkage, right? Lots of women get
Yeah.
shorter as they get older. And that's not just because of bone collapse, it's because of spinal disc. And then finally, we get a redistribution of fat from the periphery to our bellies. Nobody loves it, but that's another role of estrogen. And listen, people, fat is not just inconveniently hanging off of places we rather it wouldn't. Fat is a noxious metabolic organ that produces cytokines that can kill us. And so it behooves us to get our body composition under control.